Hi, my name is Scott, and along with my other team members, we are going to present today a topic which is about retaliatory attacks. And I'd like to just describe for you in a little introduction of what this type of action is, and that is if you could imagine a corporation which is operating a web domain or a web server or they have their a private network. Um, what occurs is that when their system is attacked by say a denial of service attack, they have several options to try to combat that challenge. And one of the options is to retaliate. And there are several different types of retaliation. And in this presentation, that's what we're going to discuss, along with the legal, ethical, and security issues. So that was slide one. Let's go to slide two. The overview of the topic. We're going to do a little introduction, and we're going to talk about types of attacks and key events. We're going to talk about botnets and security issues. We're going to do some discussion time. Slide three. So what I found in the literature is that these retaliation attacks are, are three basic types. And the first is to counterattack for immediate self-defense, and this is considered a strong um, retaliation attack because you are immediately going to direct um, some sort of attack on the individual. And then you can also retaliate for future deterrence, and that's a moderate attack. And then you can gather information and notify authorities, which is considered a weak attack. So slide four. The weak attack is really just gather evidence about activities of that attacker. What are they looking for? Who are they? Where are they operating from? That kind of information. And you provide that to the authorities. And it really doesn't deter the immediate threat. I mean, um, certainly there's already risks of being caught. So the hope, I guess, is that in the long term you can dissuade these specific individuals that to not conduct the attack again. And the ethical implications are minimal. Slide five. So legal implications are minimal. I mean, this is what the law wants you to do. They don't want you to take matters into your own hands. They want you to rely on the police and authorities to resolve your issues. And then the ethical implications are minimal. And then the one question that you have to ask is, are you violating the attacker's privacy? And in my opinion, I would say no, that the attacker has forfeited their privacy by conducting an attack. It's just like when an individual breaks into your house, and if you recognize him as he's while he's inside your house because you wake up, you don't have to protect his privacy. This person has broken the law. They're in your home. You can identify them. And in a weak attack, it can be difficult to be successful because you have all of these packets that are coming in, and you have to be able to, first of all, identify which packets are for the attack, and then from there you have to be able to identify you have to be able to try to identify what the individual is after, as well as who they are. Slide six. So the moderate attack, intended to provide false or misrepresentative data to the attacker, and it doesn't leave your domain. You're just simply either encrypting your data or providing a false set of data, or you're simply mixing up your data so that whatever trends or whatever information of value there can't be there. You can't The attacker can't draw the same conclusion. And certainly, organizations are empowered to keep false data. It's just like if you were in your own home, you can have fake jewels in the jewelry box on the counter and put your real jewels in the floor safe. I mean, that's your domain. You're allowed to do whatever you want. And the only ethical issue really is what happens if you have a chemical formula or the designs for a weapon, and the attacker uh, gets the information, and they blow themselves up trying to, use your false data. And I guess you have to ask yourself, did when you made that false data, did you intend to cause harm to the individual? Were you purposely putting a false data that you knew was explosive? And in that case, I think that would be inappropriate. Because really your intent would be to kill the individual who is attacking you. So slide 7. The legal implications are minimal. It does not involve, you know, uh, venturing out of your domain, and the ethical implications are minimal as long as you're not intending to harm the attacker. And it can be costly because, as we learned in this class, security can have a large overhead. While also encryption can have a large overhead, and also having the redundant infrastructure. So slide 8, a strong retaliatory attack. It's intended to damage or incapacitate the attacking domain and often involves redirecting attack back at attacker. It has significant ethical considerations uh, as innocent domains may be damaged. And really, the problem with this is that the retaliatory attack requires the retaliatory attacker to act as judge and jury. So now you're acting outside of the law, and in fact, I would argue that you are being a vigilante. And then, there are a lot of products that actually allow people to do this, and um, the problem with it is that just like you feel it justified, in an eye for an eye, they attack me, I'm going to attack them. Well, the original attacker may feel that they're justified because you sold a product that they disagree with. So, in fact, both can claim the higher ground. So, slide 9. The strong retaliatory attack, legal implications do exist, and really, you have to be concerned with with penalties that are going to occur, and then also ethical implications do exist. Your intent matters. You're going to focus. You could be just focusing on disarming the attacker, and instead you're purposely focusing on shutting down their domain. And imagine if everybody, anytime somebody suspected an attack, they started attacking each other. The internet could become a war zone. Slide 10. Ethical versus legal risks. The ethical concerns go beyond legal obligations for a corporation, and we talked about that in this class. And this is a good example where the ethics can be different from what's required by law, and we talked about that in class. And the question we must answer is, when are weak, moderate, and strong retaliatory attacks justified? So slide 11. So these are just a brief discussion of some retaliatory events and issues. In 1998, the U.S. Pentagon launched a retaliation to a denial of service attack by sending offensive applets to shut down attacking browsers. So our government does have this capability. Now, the interesting thing is that the Pentagon also has a policy prohibiting the U.S. military from retaliatory attacks, and they've been told that they can only track attackers and report their findings to law enforcement. And in fact, the National Research Council has criticized this policy. And I think as IT professionals, we have to take a step back, and potentially in the discussion period today, you could discuss if you feel that that's appropriate. Should the U.S. military be able to launch cyber warfare attacks outside of being, not against nation states, but against organizations. And then in 2000, this company retaliated to a denial of service attack by forwarding the attack back to the attackers, which disabled their network for several hours. And this was actually related to a big conference that was being held. So I appreciate your time today. We will now be going to the remaining members of my team. Thank you.